like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, how are you doing today? Wanted to step in right quick, man. Just wanted to step in right quick. Just gonna get in one little show because I wanted to talk about an interesting point where I see a lot of stuff is going on with, and you see my show. It says Diggs. Y'all see my shirt here. I'm celebrating my guys' homecoming, man. Norfolk State homecoming is this week, and I'm not gonna be there. I'm not gonna be at homecoming. I'm going to Philadelphia on the 30th to see Norfolk State play Delaware State to celebrate with some of my good friends in Philadelphia. And we're gonna be in that little toilet bowl stadium they have up there. But I did want to come on this show, just talk about Diggs for a minute. And I know what I'm about to say, a lot of my comrades are not going to like what I'm about to say. They're going to think that I'm shooting at Diggs. But if they listen to me, they're going to understand that I'm defending the young man as well. And if y'all listen to me, okay? This is a very unique situation. This is a business decision. This has to do with business. It also has to do with not only with business. And tell me if my internet connection is going on you. I know I'm seeing some craziness on this side for my internet. And tell me if I'm still there with y'all. If whoever's in the chat, if you could put up something in the chat and tell me, say, Coach, we still got you. That we're gonna continue to keep going on. I'll make sure I don't have to go back out here and start the stream over again. But let me know in the chat if you still with me, if everything is still good with you in the chat. If we still there, that'd be great to know. I hadn't pulled it up myself, but it's telling me on my side, it's telling me that I'm having some internet problems. But if I'm still there, we're going to continue to keep going. Okay. I think I'm still there because I'm pulled up on my side, and my side says I'm still there. So we're going to continue to keep on pushing forward. Even though it said to me, it's unstable, but we're good. We're going to try to get this out because it's not going to be a long show. This is going to be a very short show, but we're going to talk about the Diggs thing, and I'm going to give you my account of this Diggs thing. Okay. Everybody knows what Trayvon Diggs, they're saying now he's not going to play. They think about an IR situation, which if they do an IR situation, that's talking about 4 games. So there is and then some people may have heard me on the Boss Cowboys on our live stream when I said that the defense may have played better because there's not no static in the room. And someone probably say, and Boss made a very great point about Diggs and about how he said things. And yes, those leads to say, okay, there wasn't no static where Diggs was trying to be diplomatic. But I don't think that Diggs was trying to be diplomatic, because I'm going to say this from the start with. I wouldn't be diplomatic if I was in Diggs' situation. And the way Diggs is handling the situation, in a lot of cases, in a lot of stuff, I would have handled it the exact same way. I can tell you this is a distraction to the football team. And now women, and I see, and a lot of people don't want to agree with this, but the hidden yardage that he gives up because he doesn't attack, and when teams go at him, when that's a subject of game planning that he's not going to tackle, that compromises your defense when they say, okay, we're going to go at him because we know that we can get extra yards. So I'm not liking the physical play. And in some cases in this part of the game, I'm not liking some of the things that he's doing coverage-wise because I just feel like the situation has put him in that type of situation where he cannot be a total team player. Okay? So, and I think the Cowboys know this, and I think the real culprit of this problem is that the Cowboys put Diggs and this new coaching staff and Eagleflus in a bad situation by letting it get to this far. But I can see some of the reasons why I got this far because of the severity of the injury and the uniqueness of the injury. But they let it get to a point, and we're going to go over that. And I want y'all to really hone in and listen to me on this. Please listen to me on this and try to follow me in this story that we're about to talk about with this situation. When we talk about the Diggs situation here in Dallas, we have to go back to his rookie contract and how well he played in his rookie contract. And we have to go back to when he had the great year and then he came up on his fourth year before he got his contract, his big contract. And he was going into his fourth year. He was not a first-round draft pick. So he was going in his fourth year, which did give a lot of money. His 4-year contract as a second-round draft pick is not what we call mega money that you can retire your family off of. And when you're going into your fifth, you're not a first-round draft pick, there is no fifth-year option as a player when you're on a second-round draft pick, draft contract. So as we saw at Steele, as we saw in Osa, the guys that they considered as being going to get bigger contracts that's coming up that's not first-round draft picks, they did something different with Tyler Smith, but usually they try to get those done because they don't want them to go on the market after their fourth year because they're unrestricted free agents and then they can get in a bidding war. And as you know, tell me something when I ain't saying no facts. Anybody want to push back on this? As we know, the Cowboys never give bidding wars with no player, with other teams. Think about it. The guys that they sign, the free agents they sign their own, they're the only people that can negotiate with them. That's another reason why they don't really get outside free agents, the bigger name, because that's a bidding war. And the Cowboys do not put themselves in a bidding war because they don't like to say that they lost. And they think that the star is worth you coming. They think that's worth a couple of more $1 million because you're playing for them. So, Trayvon Diggs coming into his fourth year. I'm not saying Trayvon and this is not no slander on Trayvon, but a lot of rookie guys are not the best guys with their money. Especially a guy that became the Dallas and got a lot of fame, and he got a little boy, and he does his thing. So most times when they get that in that fourth year, DeMarcus Lawrence said his first year, all his money, he was a second-round draft pick. He said he blew all the money. And the Cowboys prey on that, the front office. Why do they prey on the guys that come in and they come in their contract year? Because they're watching everything. They know your financial status. And if they catch you getting into the point of being frustrated or needing to sign a contract to get money up front, they play that. They drag it out and they play that. So when Diggs signed his contract 2 weeks before the season started, I think maybe a week before the season started, right? 2 weeks, maybe once or 2 weeks before the season started. If you look at that contract, it was a poo-poo deal for long term. It wasn't a good deal for long term. It was a $91 million contract, but it only guaranteed like $29, $30 million. Maybe it wasn't even 50% guaranteed. And in these days of time, most contracts are at least 50 to 60, 70% guaranteed. This contract was not even 50% guaranteed. So what does that tell you? That this contract was a contract that was signed to give you some bonus money now, but, and if you read the contract, they told you, go on Spotify contract, it told you that there was an out clause after year 3, year 4. I have been telling you over and over again, all the Cowboy contracts have an out clause. That makes, when they really look at the contract, it'll tell you if this really is a 2-year deal, really, or a 3-year deal, not a 5 or 6 year deal. It tells you because the out means all your bonus money, all your guarantee money is paid up. And if they got rid of you, there's only monopoly money left. And what I mean by monopoly money, that means you carry a salary cap hit as dead money, but that's not actual money they're paying you in your pocket. So the Cowboys have been historically hard on, even with coaches, assistant coaches, and players. They don't like paying for guys that's not actually working in the building. They do not like writing checks for guys that's not working in the building. Jerry Jones said that last offseason in an interview. See, we don't like to hear that. But he said that the NFL got more dead money coaches and GMs than anybody. I think roughly $600 million. That's for coaches that got fired early and you still got to pay them their contract. That's for GMs that got fired before their contract was over and you still paying these guys. You add that up, teams are paying players, not only players, but coaches and GMs, money are still being cut from them because they've been fired early. Jason Garrett went to the end of his contract before he got let go. They owed him no money after he left. They owed Mike McCarthy no money. They owed none of the coaches no money when they left because their total coaching staff was at the end of their contracts last year. No dead money. So in the Diggs case, they were going to take it to the point of where the out clause was. So Diggs comes and he gets hurt the first year of the new contract. Okay, so the Cowboys pay him, that's he tore his ACL, and then now he comes back the next year. Well, it's a question about if did Diggs work out as hard the first time? Well, maybe he might not. Maybe think about what Diggs went through. He got his first big contract, and then he gets hurt. It could be a very emotional type thing. He may have never been hurt like this before. He might not have attacked it like he's supposed to have. That's possible. But he comes back, and then he plays the season, but he starts having complications. Where sometimes you don't really prepare the thing, and you're trying to get you back, you can run into some problems. Well, he plays one season, then he comes back the next season, and then he's playing it, and halfway through, he gets a lot of swelling, discomfort. He's out that season where they have to do not the same surgery, but they got to go and do a microfracture type surgery, something that's very rare that this players having now. but there's really no real research on how long this would last, and you can continue to play at a certain level without having discomfort. Now you can come back, but there's no research on that. So the Cowboys did not apply, because every Cowboy contract has what we call have an out clause, as to where they have where they can what we call about restructure it. Well, the player don't even have to agree, because it doesn't change their money, and most times they add more guaranteed money to the contract, so they don't dispute that, and they kick the can down the road, so the out clause moves back a year. So if they did the restructure of these contract 2 times, they did it once, and they do it 2 times. Now the out clause moves, every time they do it, the out clause moves up another year. But this year, they didn't do that. And I think they owed him about $9 to $10 million worth of money of his salary this year. That would have been the last portion of the guaranteed money of the total contract. So what does that tell Diggs? What does that tell his agent? They're seeing the Cowboys do this all the time. I'm quite sure that their agent tried to say, hey, the back end of this deal is not good. Do y'all want to do a extension, and let's do a better deal for the future? Well, the Cowboys said this, and think about it in the Cowboys sense. He already played 4 years. He already played 3 years. He's going in his 4th year, which will make him an 8-year cornerback already. He's had an ACL, and he's having a surgery that we don't know the long-term results of this. So the Cowboys already had their mind was, we owe him $9 million, and this is how they think. And listen, you can say this ain't how they think, but look at all the situations, or most of the situations. He's on the roster, and he's a good player. Let's get the $9 million out of him, and then we'll put him on down the road. Because if we bring it back next year, the salary cap is going to be bigger, and we got to guarantee more money to a guy that we feel is already on the downslide. You don't get better after 9 years with these type of things. And I'm not saying Diggs is garbage, but they had already made the decision. So let me go back to another instance. Let me prove how you would handle this if you was healthy. If you was Diggs. He was not healthy. So he really couldn't handle this situation. He was caught behind the rock and a hard place. Because he was working to get healthy, but he wasn't. Let's take Zach Martin 2 years ago. Zach Martin seen what you did with Diggs. Zach Martin seen what you did with Ezekiel Elliott. When Ezekiel Elliott money, guaranteed money was gone, goodbye. They seen with Dez Bryant. When his guaranteed money was gone, goodbye. Zach Martin saw this. And he had 1 more year that was not guaranteed. So he sat out because he wanted to play 2 years. So he took and the only thing they did was guarantee his 2nd year. So he knew that he was locked in to being there, because the cap here, if you cut him with the guaranteed money, would have been astronomical, and you would have had to cut him from a team and still pay him. And the Cowboys don't like doing that. Jerry don't like signing a check for a guy that's working for somebody else. You can understand that, but everybody else does it. So Diggs was in a situation where if he stayed, he knew the training camp, that this is his last year. Now, imagine what's going through the young man's head. Diggs. Here it is. He has had a contract. All the guaranteed money is gone. He got $9 million left. Then the Cowboys take $500,000 of that money because he said he been working out with his own trainer. Then you got the IRS taking money. And there's no more guaranteed money. And they didn't kick the kicker on your contract to be for another year. You know that they're gonna get rid of you next year. You got to find another team. So what you have to do, and they're slandering your name they say that this was caused because you didn't work out after the first knee injury. So what do you do? He did the smartest thing that a player that I've seen done. He went out and videotaped, and this wasn't just him, his agent probably put this together too. He went and spent money and he videotaped his recovery and his training sessions. And here it is, Cowboy Nation. And I want you to really hear this. He did not do that to impress Cowboy Nation, the Joneses, or this team, or this organization, or this fan base. He did that for his next employer. He did that to show his next employer that he's going to work to get himself together. He had to get back on the field in before time to prove to his next employer that the stuff they were saying about me and the not working and hard was a lie. Or if it was true, it's no longer true. So some of you will say, well, coach, Diggs didn't know he was going. What if he had an all-pro season and was like Diggs back in before? Like he was in the MVP race. Okay, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about if Diggs was an all-pro player like he was when in his year he got the big interceptions. He still is effed up. You say, well, why, coach? Why he effed up? Because the Cowboys got him on a poo-poo contract that ain't got no dead money, but they ain't got no guarantee money, but he still got years on the contract. And they know the back end of the contract is going to be less money than the big-time cornerbacks is getting out here in the NFL. So if he had an all-pro year, the Cowboys could kick the can down the road for about $8-9 million more. And guess what? Now they're going to give him another $8-9 million. He'll be on a contract that ain't got no guaranteed money after that. They can do that automatically. And now he's stuck in Dallas again, playing again on a 1-year deal, and he don't know how long this knee gonna hold up. The kid is in a quandary now, man. And the Dallas Cowboys know they got him in that. He damn if he do, he damn if he don't. He needs to get out of Dallas as soon as possible so someone else will say, well, here, Diggs, here a 3-year, $22 million contract, and we'll guarantee 16. At least he know he got 16 coming. So this kid is trying everything he do to look good as a player. So if you're doing a defense that he don't feel that he's not buying into, because that's the problem with our defense. That's why I think we need to go younger, because the only thing they have to do is buy in. And our defense will get better if they buy in. But you can't tell Diggs to buy in because he's looking for it's going to make him look good. Because he's got to get another job with guaranteed money. The kid got family. So when they said he had put his house up for sale, hell yeah! Who keeps a $4 million house and they only get $9 million take away taxes, and they got no guaranteed money left. And the handwriting on the wall that the Cowboys are going to get rid of you. Imagine what he's going through. And now, I don't think it's no concussion thing. I think he's having some problems with that knee. I think that knee is sore than what you think it is. This was we talking about a taller corner, and this is uncharted territory for a cornerback. And I can guarantee you say, well, what, Coach, what you trying to say? If I'm Diggs' agent, I'm saying, well, your film might not be great, but there's enough good film out there now, or somewhat, for the last 3-4 games that you played. Let's try to get out of Dallas now. It's time to start working on the next job. And don't go out there now if you hurt a little bit. We don't want bad stuff out there. Now, y'all want to say he's doing it for the team? Let me tell you what Coach Marv would say. Damn the team. I got a mouth to feed. I got family to feed. He may got 2 or 3 more kids coming along. He already know the Cowboys going to cut loose on him. So when he says something, yeah, it might sound diplomatic, but you think that he buying into a new coaching staff? Yeah, thank you. And I don't even know, I didn't even never hear that report. I'm telling you already, and this here, man, I promise my hand to God, I didn't even never hear that report. But I ain't crazy. I know how this situation going. And all the people who talk about where they trying to kill Diggs and what's the new, what they gonna do with that, they have already said that in preseason before the season started, that this was Diggs' last year in Dallas, regardless. And Diggs knew that. Diggs wanted that because he knew they could have kept him at some poo-poo deal, and then he would still be on a 1-year deal for another 2 years at the poo-poo money and the back end of that contract. Man, listen, man. He was in a bad situation. And it's stressful. So you think he's a happy camper and there ain't no static with him? You must be crazy. Because there would be static with me. And if you was in that situation, it would be static with you too. Because he don't know his future, man. You got a need that you don't know about. You got to find a new employer. And your little boys, they depend on you. And yeah, if you talking about, I want him to be physical. Yeah, he might not want to be physical. He don't want to get hurt. But this is the Cowboys' fault. Not Diggs per se. But this is the Cowboys' fault for what the Cowboys are going through in this situation with Diggs. And what the defense coordinator is going through with Diggs and the static, because it is static. This is the Cowboys' cheap-ass ways of why we're going through that. Now, to the Cowboys' fence a little bit, they couldn't make a move until Diggs got healthy. Because nobody gonna take him. And you ain't gonna cut him and maybe he can get out there and do something. So when you brought him back, You should have played in one game, and you should have publicly said he's on the block. And that's the best thing for him and the Cowboys. Give a young man a chance to go somewhere before we get into 2 years with this knee and too many games. And maybe he can, it may not go bad, but at least he got a chance to see if he can make, and somebody give him an extension. Because you know you're not. Why put your defensive coordinator through some bullshit like this? For what? Because you scared about $9 million, $8.5 million to pay a guy? If you cut him, you could have paid him, but this will get that type of attitude out your locker room. And it's not that Diggs is a bad person. He had no effing choice. He's looking at his children, his career. He don't have no more guarantee. He got $9 million and he got probably $10 million worth of bills. This is what happened when you try to play that game, Dallas. And now it's a mess. Because as the season go on, and if he got some soreness in the knee, he is really, man, listen, man, I worry about the kid. Listen, man, I worry about the kid. This story might be even more deeper than what we think it is. So instead of us out here talking about these conspiracy theories about how they treat him, listen, man, this is the nature of the business. It did fall out right. And sometimes when you take a desperate deal early, it's good up front. But if you get to the back end, it's more detrimental to you. That's why guys be holding out, man. Because what sounds good at the front don't mean it's good at the back. Parsons' agent told you that. And I worry about Diggs, man. Because think about this, the pressures on this young man. The kid is hurting with his knee. He don't know what people going to do. He know the Cowboys been out on him. He can't prove that he can be a top-notch guy. And then he got some soreness where that's going to make everybody back off of him. Now he talking about he goes somewhere, somebody going to probably offer him a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million. And he's going to be trying to prove it every year from now on. The big deals are done. And this kid didn't see that. He thought it was going to keep rolling in. And I worry about him. And I hope nothing happened to him. But I'm telling you, what I'm telling you today, think about it, people. This is human nature. And some people say, well, yes, he was in a bad situation, and the Cowboys had already let his agent know way in advance. He saw the tea leaves that this was his last year. And if he didn't save his money correctly, and he blew through that second contract, with that just that $29, $30 million, he could be in a real bad situation right now thinking. Because he don't know, man. This is a new surgery, and he tried to come back, did everything he could do, and now he's starting to have soreness. Now he's like, what the heck? So, man, that's the Diggs story, man. And I've been saying the same thing. If you want to say that I ain't been saying the same thing, go back. Every time I get on this preaching point about Diggs, I say the same thing, except when I'm talking about his play. And I'm going to criticize him when he's not physical, because I know he's from the University of Alabama. I know he know how to be physical. And I know he's static in that locker room. The pressure he's under, yes, he's static. And for him to try to make it sound like he's being diplomatic, I commend him on that. But I know he's static. Now, 10 of y'all guys will be static as well with that type of pressure. And they shouldn't have been here. See, the admirable franchises, they don't hold you around, try to get all the damn little bit of money out you. They go ahead and let you go. San Francisco, they get rid of you. They let you go. Not that they don't be mad, they let you go. Because they don't want an unhappy camper. And yes, Wilson won't play. Malik Hook ain't playing. Diggs. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but this is happening because the eye that I had, somebody saying that same stuff in those film sessions. There is no damn way in the hell that they ain't seeing the exact same thing I've been seeing for weeks. Some of y'all act like y'all weren't seeing it. I told you weeks ago, handle the safety problem first, and a lot of other stuff will figure itself out. I told you in the Chicago game when I watched him run that screen pass when Swift ran down the field. Go check my Twitter post. When I said that is I point out Wilson, Diggs, Malik Hooker. I said this is a team that there's a cancer somewhere in there. Check my post. And I said we need to go young in the back end. I'm watching teams all over the NFL go young on the back end and playing ball. Give me enthusiasm. Give me some people that they're young enough to know that they got to buy in. If the coach wanted to play zone, buy your ass in and play the best. That don't mean people supposed to catch the ball because you playing zone. But if you're not bought in, nothing you're going to do will work. And if they're static, it's hard to communication with static. My grandfather was in World War II. And he said, and this is the art of war, but he said the first thing that they will always try to attack is the communication. They will try to make it so that it's so much static in the communication line. They'll try to shoot stuff to make sure it'd be so much static that you couldn't understand what a person was saying. And the more static you had, the less communication you got across. Get rid of the static, and these guys going to start to listen, and they buy their ass in. Watch what I tell you what's going to happen with this team. Buy in. And let's get behind these young guys and make them feel that they're wanted instead of being crying about what somebody else. Because if our real concern is the Cowboys, then let's rock and roll with it. Yeah, that story's sad. I can understand what Diggs is going through. I don't blame him if he's static, and I know he is. There ain't no way he's going to that pressure. I worry about the pressure that he's under, and he's looking at his future. I see it a lot, man. There's a lot of people that say, oh, we got a bright thing. It's bright. Something happened. And then things start turning dark and you can't turn around. And everybody's depending on you. Yeah, he got his brother doing the thing, but you got your family. You start having more kids doing this because you think that you're going to play and it's still going to keep rolling in. And then things turn around. Yes, I understand the Diggs, man. And I worry about it. But for the football and the Cowboys, I'm going to turn the page. And it's time for the young guys to step up and just be physical. If I was coaching them young guys back in September, I'm going to say, hey, I want you to be as physical as possible. And then everything else will flow. But don't be timid on the physicality. We'll work on the mental. But let's buy into each other. We'll be all right. Because to make a name is just take opportunity. Troy Aikman said that the other day when the defensive back for the Detroit Lions, and he kept calling his name and how much he played well. And Troy Aikman made an interesting comment. He said, man, these guys that took the opportunity and their names is not going to be forgotten. And he right. This opportunity, Clark, Woods. And I think the softness has bled on into Wanye because he can't stay healthy. I think the softness is bled on into number 14. Yeah. Because you're playing behind guys that's soft and doing it, and you can't have been there long enough. Yeah. Boss Cowboy was on point when he said something a couple of games ago. He didn't realize it. He said he might have to clear the whole safety room. And I said it before that. Let's go young. Shake the bushes, baby. Let's buy in. And listen, Eagleflus like that. Because now he's got a clear chalkboard. And he can put in his philosophy. Because that's why he's going to work well. Let's buy in. That's the Diggs thing, man. And I'm not blaming Diggs. I could understand it. Buy in, man. Now I'm going to leave you with this last point because I want to say this because I posted something on Twitter today. And a lot of people, I see a lot of y'all ain't went on Twitter and shared my post and liked my post and all that, but it's a true post, man. Dak Prescott said something about we need to go into this. He hadn't beat he never played well against Denver. But he said going into this game, which I said this game is so important for the run. It's the second quarter. We are 3 games into the second quarter of the quarters of a season. We almost at a halfway point. It's time to start stringing stuff together. But he said that we got to win dirty. And it's going to be a dog fight. Boy, you don't know how many times I've been saying that we got to earn the right in the mud to become a contender. How we got to grind. How many times I said that on Twitter and on the live streams? And this sounds like Schottenheimer. And Dak is echoing Schottenheimer. That means they know that they got to grind the ball. They got to run it. They know they got to be physical up front. They know they got to work off play action pass. All those are grindings. They understand they're going to get big plays, but they understand, Dak understands that this not offense ain't going to be as easy when they start playing the teams like Denver and we start getting in this part of the season. Dak understands that they might not be no 40 burgers. Because his coach understands that they ain't going to be no 40 burgers. We can talk about how many weapons we got, but those guys on the other side of the ball that play together for other teams, they get paid too. So we may have to win some games dirty. And we may have to, and I always say, go on the road, you're going to be in a dogfight. You got to gangster your victory out of the road. And that's the new culture that Schottenheimer is trying to get. That's when he's talking about he's trying to get toughness, calluses. He's trying to get us out the mud type team, because that's where his father was. But there ain't no out the mud if you ain't bought in. If you're trying to change the defense as a player. See, from the coach's aspect, yes, you listen to your players. But you got to buy into my philosophy first. And then we could work the stuff in as you want, but you got to be bought in to my philosophy of how I want to play. And I guarantee it's physical. And if you ain't bought into that, how the hell I'm going to listen to you by playing man to man? At that point, are we going to have the players call the plays? But I didn't see guys bought in to nothing. Buy in. And this dirty mentality that Dak is echoing from his shot, you could see the offense is getting that. That's where that swag comes. But they're going to have to get even grindier when we start playing this competition. Because listen, I can guarantee you Dak ain't going to throw for no big plays against this Denver team. We're going to have to grind out and make some plays and get this. We're going to have to go get this one. It's going to be a dogfight. And he right. But I also said in the post was, the Cowboy Nation, all you people out there in Cowboy Nation, we have always been the big story in the NFL, baby. It always have swirled around us. Troy Aikman told you that the coach for the Detroit Lions was a Cowboy tight end, backup tight end, and he had a radio show. We have always been the spotlight. But in the 70s and the 90s and the years that we dominated, we were a grindy team. We ran the ball on anybody. We stopped the run, and we bust your chops when you caught the ball. Check the 90s out. It was all about pretty and success. We grinded people. People were scared to play us. We bust heads. And we practiced like that. And then we went out and been the flashiest team with all the shows. But we knew how to get it out the mud, though. This team wanted to have the shows, but they don't know how to get it out the damn mud. So if y'all want to talk about changes, y'all want to talk about getting players, because you want to do it the finesse way, and you think acquisition of players is going to change the philosophy, you better start talking about these guys getting dirty and grinding. Like Dak Prescott's talking about. That's what he's talking about. And those words are real winning championship words. So getting a player will be fine. Getting two will be great. But we ain't got the mentality type to be gangsters and get it from the mud. Getting somebody ain't gonna make a world of damn difference here. So, like, comment, subscribe. I want you to take this show and repost it because it's probably gonna make some other people mad because they got all these other things. But if you listen to me and if you came in on the back end of this, when I get finished and I post this to Facebook, I mean not Facebook to YouTube, and I post it to you go back on Twitter, go back and watch the whole show, the ones you missed. I feel for Diggs. I don't blame him. I just don't think he should have been here at this team. And now he's looking, and I hope the best for him. And I know his psyche is messed up. But for this team, it's time to move on. And it's not time to drag him out and drag him for every little quarter you can't pay him because you're scared to pay him a quarter or two because he's not with this team. Damn that, Jerry. If you ain't going to keep the guy, cut his ass loose, let him get another chance. And if he gets hurt somewhere else before he gets extension, at least he said, I had a chance. But playing for us, I don't care what he does. Y'all know y'all finna cut bait. Or you're going to try to keep him here, and I hate to use that word, I ain't going to use that word, but you try to keep him tied here with no big-time future. And if you keep him here, he's going to be a cancer. Because hell, I would. Let's buy in, Cowboy Nation. And if any of our players thinking yesterday can win today, and any of our players thinking today can win tomorrow, it's trying to weed their ass out of here too. I want guys that's going to grind to dominate you every damn play, every week, every damn snap, until they get what they want. And what we want is a damn Super Bowl. And we're going to make, just like everybody make the Super Bowl for us, I want our team like this. They was when they were grinders. Y'all our damn Super Bowl too, baby. Let's play the Super Bowl then on Sunday, baby. If we yours, y'all ours too. And you're going to get a damn good Super Bowl game on Sunday. That's what Dak talking about. Because you can't bring no ass. If you can't get no ass, you ain't bringing none. That's the type of team I want. Buy the hell in and stop crying. And let's go get 6. Make a deal if you want to, Jerry. But the nucleus of this team has got to live with this. And whoever comes in is an add-on, not the standard. Thank y'all so much for listening to me, man. Thank y'all for, Cosby Or Simmons. Simmons will all be able to be fit. People don't want Simmons because they talking about we got too many defensive tackles, man. You do that, you got a chance to move on some downs. You got a chance to move Osa to the outside. And you ain't gonna be trying to push the pocket and surround it. Listen, man, that edge, you just gotta have guys to get it's hard to block one-on-one, you know. But like I said, regardless of who they bring, man, they got to come in and enhance. I don't think y'all understand. Whoever they bring in got to come in and enhance. It's more about mentality and buy-in right now than anything else in chemistry. Whoever they bring in got to be the enhancer, not the standard. If you bring somebody in week 8 and they're gonna be the standard, and they got to come in here and lead your locker room, then what the hell you had before? You ain't had no championship team, and ain't no one person gonna turn that in no championship team. Don't give me no Charles Haley. There was already leaders in here with Charles Haley. He was this enhancer. He was his own guy, but he was the enhancer. He became in a locker room that knew that he had strong leaders. And then Jimmy had to check him too. Yeah. Man, people who think it was a great show, thank you so much. It's a great show because of the vast amount of comments that I had. I'm sorry I didn't get to some of your comments. Hope y'all put the comments in. Hopefully y'all will do super chats because I can look at those later on, and that will support the channel. I need to get my super chats up. I need to get over 200 more subscribers, 280 some more subscribers. So by you sharing that we need to get this, I get to another level of monetization, the last level of monetization. But I do need for the help with the super chats or the stickers, or pay for the stickers, or using the Cash App there to be able to help the channel for us to grow. We're trying to get the new computer that I got right over here in that box, but I'm trying to get my cousin out here who's my producer, but he's been battling with some things, so he's going to be the one. We got to try to set all that up. Coach is not a computer guy, and it's getting frustrating with this laptop I'm on, but I will be with y'all for the live stream for the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl game against the Denver Broncos in Mile High City. I'm ready for this game. I hope our players got their mind on their work. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your rest of your Friday. Enjoy your Saturday, man. It wouldn't be no me without y'all. Y'all make me. We're good as the ones you like me or you don't like me. There's going to be some haters. But one thing you always going to say, Coach Marv is always going to be real talk. Some of the stuff you ain't going to want to hear, but a lot of stuff may be the truth, the stuff you really need to hear. Let's get behind Diggs, man. Not Diggs to be with Diggs to be on the team, but let's pray for this young man as I'm going to pray for him. I know he's going through some things, man. It's a very different situation, and I'm praying for him. And let's get behind these younger guys. These old guys just don't want to face the music. Their bodies done broken down. They're slower. It's time for these young guys to have their opportunity and go bust some heads, baby. Go bust some heads, baby. Go play it like you was playing when you first started. You at the NFL for a reason, baby. Let's go play. Until next time, salute to y'all, man. Thank y'all. Great show because y'all, man. Peace.